So, you want to speak about 10 juicy stocks to watch next week? Look no further. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor and I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're doing something that we do every single Saturday on the channel. I'm going to be speaking about 10 stocks to keep an eye on next week. Very, very exciting times in the market lately. The last couple of weeks have been amazing. They've been really, really good. I know my portfolio has been thriving. We went up over 8.5% this week. Comparing, it was a red week across the broader market. I'm very happy with that. EV is on fire. A lot of our SPACs are on fire. Some of our more speculative plays are doing really well as well. It's paying off, baby. I know a lot of the guys in my Discord chat went up over 20% this week, which is insane. But it's always fun to be able to say you had a good week when the market's red. So if you haven't watched one of these videos before, guys, just so you know, we go through each company briefly because there is 10 of them. And you know, if I was to do a full analysis on each one, by the time I'd be done, Workhorse would have the USPS contract. So it's just nice and quick. We try to cover a range of different companies, some exciting ones. We have some SPACs in there, some of our EP, some of our bigger tech. So, right before we get into the video, guys, could I please ask you to just hit that juicy like button for me? It's free and it really helps me out. If you're new around here, what are you waiting for, my friend? Hit that juicy red subscribe button and join the family of investors. And please drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video. And also, I'm really interested to hear what you are going to be watching next week. With all that being said, guys, into our first very exciting company of the day. And boom, this is the first company of the day. So it's another SPAC. And it's the first company I've gotten really excited about since Lordstown Motors. Now, with that being said, there definitely is pros and cons to these guys. And my mind's not 100% made up on them yet. I'm starting off for these because I made a full video on them earlier. It's like 15-16 minutes long, so feel free to watch that after this video if you want to. But essentially, this was announced literally yesterday, okay? And you can see how the market reacted. We closed the day up over 14%, and in the after hours we're up 10.5%, which for the weekend is a lot. So anything could happen on Monday next week. So this here is the company that we're looking to do the reverse merger with. It's XL Fleet, and so you'll see here they offer electrification solutions. What they offer right now is powertrain solutions. So a lot of people are comparing these guys to Hyliion. Hyliion offers their powertrain solutions for Class 8 vehicles. As of this moment in time, XL Fleet is targeting Class 2 through 6 vehicles with the intentions of getting into Class 7 and 8 down the line. Essentially, all that means is they're offering powertrain solutions for nearly everybody except your massive vehicles, your semi-trucks, your garbage trucks. You see, they offer a few solutions as of right now, this one being the main one, the XL Hybrid. As a system that delivers 25% MPG increase and a 20% reduction in CO2 emissions for Class 2 through 6 fleets. We have the XL Plug-in, which is a bit better, okay, it delivers a 50% MPG increase and a 33% reduction in CO2 emissions. And then we have XL Link, which provides fleets with actionable intelligence on their vehicle electrification. They're also working on something fully electric down the line, but for the time being, it is all hybrids. Now, usually with the EV SPACs that we've seen, they haven't been around very long, don't have very many customers. These guys have been around for over 10 years, okay? They have over 133 million customer miles driven, 18,000 plus hours of driver productivity added, and there's been 2 million gallons of fuel saved. Now, these guys also work with massive companies. I'm speaking, you can see some of them down here. Verizon, FedEx, we have Coca-Cola, Pepsi, a lot of really big blue chip customers, which will make scalability down the line a whole lot easier. Pro forma valuation is around $1.1 billion. That will leave the company with about $350 million of cash for investments. Now, as I said, my mind's not 100% made up on them yet. It seems very exciting. It is still very new. I'm very exposed to EV in general. I'm really interested to see what happens with this company on Monday and Tuesday though in particular. And if you haven't ever heard of them, please go have a look into them. And at the end of this video, check out the video I made on them. Exciting opportunity to say the least. And again, this literally was announced yesterday, you know, so it's very new. I do expect it to be very volatile. Now, I don't know if I think we're going to shoot up and see some sort of a pullback or if it's going to be a bit slower. We'll have to see, but what I can tell you is there's already a lot of hype around these guys. That's why I expect the volatility. Okay, second company of today. So we actually have another SPAC, but this is one that we've known about for a considerable period of time. And on the opposite hand, it's not really done much at all. So the ticker symbol for the SPAC is CCXX. You can see we're only trading at 11.27, which for a SPAC means pretty much nothing has happened. Now, this also is a weird one for me, okay, because if you've been on this channel before, I'm really focused on growth. And the main industries I am invested in, I'm very heavily involved in EV. It takes up a very large portion of my portfolio. And then, I mean, you know, some of the big tech guys, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. So this one is a little bit different to what I'd normally go for, but I do think it offers a really nice opportunity at current valuations. So they offer flexible, customizable strategies for reducing the cost of healthcare for medical and dental payers without having to get too in depth. Just think of them as, saving people money on their healthcare and stopping people from getting scammed, potentially most importantly. So I mean, the fact they're in healthcare means that people aren't going to get as excited about them. I think that's why we haven't seen much price action. And for full transparency, I actually did open a position in these guys, I bought 100 shares at 11.30, and that was early on in the week, and you can see that very, very little has happened. But the thing about these guys is, again, they've a proven track record, which is nice to see in a company, especially when they're going public through a SPAC. They've already processed over $100 billion worth of charges. There's been $19 billion in annualized savings delivered to their customers. 1.2 million providers are under contract, okay? 60 million plus consumers on the platform. $1.1 billion 2021 estimated revenue. I mean, that's a lot of revenue, people, especially for a company that's just going public, and especially for a company just going public through a SPAC. Their valuation has grown so quickly, okay? In 2006, they were valued at $1 billion. Looking ahead into 2021, $11 billion. 6 years ago, it was at $4.4 billion. The growth has been absolutely immense. And I will admit, I haven't put as much time and research into the healthcare sector as I have into big tech, innovation in general, EV. I still know a little bit. It's a massive market, okay? It accounts for such a high percentage of the GDP in the US. Oftentimes people feel like they're getting scammed in regards to their healthcare, so a company like this, can help. We have fantastic revenue and adjusted EBITDA compound annual growth rates going forwards. So a very well established company, okay? And they're trying to bring this own innovative twist to the healthcare industry. I mean, healthcare has been done the same way for decades and decades. It's very boring. There's nothing exciting about it. Something like this, I see massive potential in. So I was willing to take 100 shares, It's decent. It's nothing crazy. The way I see it, guys, the downside, if you're getting in at 11.27 a share, is literally about 10%. And the upside could be very high. Now, I don't have specific price targets for these guys yet. I think it's really hard to get them. But at the end of the day, it's a company I like the look of. They're very well established. They've proven that they can grow very quickly. They have a massive customer base. The downside is about 10%. It was worth me throwing a few squiddy. But that's the second company of today. And we actually have one more SPAC. Sorry for you guys who aren't interested in the SPACs, but these guys are really exciting to me. So the SPAC is Switchback Energy, okay? The ticker symbol is SBE. We're trading at $14.25 a share. In the after hours, we're up another 3.5%. Again, this only came out Tuesday. Now, it has gone up very quickly. I mean, we're up even in the after hours over 40% total this week alone. This here is the company we're looking at, a company called ChargePoint. So the hint is in their name. They're in the electric vehicle charger game. Electric mobility is here. Our passion, making it easy. And again, full transparency, I opened up a position in these guys. Again, it was 100 shares. My cost basis is $13.93. So again, nothing has really happened. So I did make a full video on these guys because I do think they're really exciting, and we speak about EV a lot. They're targeting businesses, fleets, drivers. Now, in my opinion, targeting fleets is going to be super important. I see an awful lot of growth coming to fleets in regards to electric vehicles. I mean, let's look at Lordstown Motors, who took their pre-orders from 27,000 without a prototype even, all the way up to 40,000 in the span of 5 weeks. And that's just one company, okay? There's loads of other examples out there. Fleets are the kind of companies who are going to be buying in bulk. They're going to be buying a lot of electric vehicles, which means they're going to need a lot of charging stations. And obviously it's easy to cater for the drivers and the businesses. It's very simple. But the fleets is where I genuinely think a lot of the big money is going to be made. Could end up being wrong, who knows? But essentially what they offer: hundreds of thousands of places to charge with one account. They do everything for you. They've delivered over 82 million charges as it is. So again, this is a company going public through a SPAC, but they're established. They've been around for a long time. They again have proven their growth over the last few years in particular. Again, we're looking at a company who's working with massive blue chips: 3M, Dell, eBay, GM, Google, LinkedIn, Johnson & Johnson. In 2016, they had 26,000 charging spots. Now there's in excess of 100,000. 2016, there was 11 million charges delivered. Now it's over 80 million. I mean, they're growing very quickly, and we can see that clearly. Now these guys, again, they did have a big boom off the bat, so I had to pay a little bit more for them. Nearly $14 a share. They're a little bit more expensive, which means that there is more downside. But at the end of the day, maximum downside I'm looking at here is probably 15 to 20%. And I do think the upside here could be potentially massive, because again, they're in the EV space, okay? People will get excited, people will get hyped, especially when we realize they're in a fantastic position. So it's worth keeping an eye on them next week. A lot of the initial hype may have died down, maybe some new news will come out, more hype will be created. It's worth keeping an eye on them. But that's the third company. Okay, so now we have some of the usual culprits that you can expect to find on this channel, and I'm going to start it off with Workhorse, because things really are getting exciting. Let's just speak about the USPS contract. Okay, a lot of us still expect it to be announced by the end of September. As of recording this, it's the 19th of September. In my opinion, there is a high likelihood we hear something next week. And not only that, but my days, people, what a month it's been. Up 86.47% on the month. On the 5-day chart, we're up nearly 30%. In the after hours, we're in the green again. If you're like me and you were in these guys for a while, there was a really slow period of time. I mean, we were trading very sideways. There was some minor green days, some minor red days. But now, look at that chart and look at that growth. If you want the most up-to-date information on Workhorse, just check my last video on them. Brought up a lot of fair points. We introduced Brian to the channel. This here is officially our Workhorse mascot, you know what I mean? He's a pretty cool guy. He's known to lose his temper if you don't hit the like button though, so please make sure to hit it or else he will genuinely pop up in your nightmares. But I mean, given the run we've been on, given the strategic partnerships we've seen formed recently, given the great PR we're getting, given the success of Lordstown Motors, even in the interview I did with the CEO of Lordstown Motors, who just so happens to be the founder of Workhorse, a lot of good information came from that. Well worth keeping an eye on. I mean, it definitely is. For the next 2 weeks, we need to keep a very close eye on these guys. Well, I mean, of course, we have to speak about Hyliion, ticker symbol SHLL. So we just hit $50 a share again. We were actually up above it, but we closed on exactly 50. On the monthly chart, these guys are still up 89%. You will all remember we were up in the 55s. We've been kind of dipping a little bit. A lot of people are getting scared. At the end of the day, guys, from our highs, we're down 10%, okay? On the month, we're still up pretty much 90%. These guys are killing it. Absolutely killing it. And the vote for the merger is the 28th of September. Now, obviously, that isn't next week, but I mean, come on, I'm sure some news is going to come out next week. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. I think we can expect a lot of people to want to get into these guys before the merger. In the same breath, though, that could lead to, you know, the market movers wanting to make a considerable pullback happen one more time. Now, I'm not sure if we'll see that because we did pretty much hit $40 a share. So, you know, maybe they've already made their big dip happen. They've bought their shares and they just want to ride it back up. But again, just like Workhorse, we have a massive catalyst coming up within the next 2 weeks. It's well worth keeping a very close eye on them. And as well, Thomas Healy pretty much came out and said they're going to be a lot more active on the Twitter and stuff, so it's going to be cool to see. You know, I don't think that enough of these big companies are active enough on social media, and that could genuinely fill people with confidence. We also recently saw that they are now working with Return It. They're getting a lot of good press lately. In all honesty, these guys probably get a lot less hate than pretty much any other EV company out there for whatever reason. But I mean, we're at $50 a share again. It's been a disgustingly good month. They're my best performing company. I want to keep a very, very close eye on them. And again, I know I'm going through these ones very quick, but because I speak about them every week, if you want the full videos, just check it out on my page. Potentially the single most important company to keep an eye on next week. We're having a look at Tesla. Why do we have to watch them next week? Battery day, but you all already know that. These guys have been on a really weird run the last month, even more than the last month, okay? Remember this, we went on that insane run, absolutely insane. We had a horrible crash, we lost a third of our value. Since then, we're back up 33%. I said that my price prediction for battery day is anywhere in the realms of $500 to $600. That still stands for me. I'm expecting some massive news. I mean, really big news. I think that Elon Musk is going to come out with some news that none of us are even expecting. None of us were speculating about. I think it's going to potentially be one of the biggest battery days that Tesla has ever had, which obviously is going to lead to a lot of people buying in. And again, I think there was a lot of market manipulation here. I think there was a lot of market movers doing their thing. I mean, after the stock split, we crashed horribly, absolutely horribly. Did the fundamentals change? No, not whatsoever. A lot of people ran away with their profits. They wanted to buy back in cheaper. A lot of people with a lot of money, aka the market movers, want to do the same thing. Now I think they have their position. Again, we've gone on a really nice rebound, and I genuinely think it's only getting started. I mean, this one tweet here speaks for itself. Many exciting things will be unveiled on Battery Day, the 22nd of September. I mean, he's not going to tweet that for no reason. There has to be some massive stuff coming. And then he followed up with this meme trying to post fire content. Legal sales getting sued, more legal. I think massive news is coming, and Elon Musk is very excited to let us know about it. But that is Tesla, baby. Okay. The last EV stock we're looking at, Lordstown Motors, trading under the SPAC DPHC. Look at the chart, guys, okay? Where's the pullbacks? I mean, where are the pullbacks, you know? I've loved these guys from day one. I initially bought them in the 12s, I bought it 14s and 17s, I have a $15 cost basis. We're up over 180% from when we went public, essentially. Pullbacks really don't exist with these guys. I mean, we've seen a couple of 5% ones, the most we saw was a 7% one. Not a lot's happened. On the monthly chart, we just go up. These guys cannot be stopped. I made a video calling these guys the most undervalued electric vehicle stock when they were $17 a share. I think that was maybe a week and a half ago, absolute max. I mean, it's been good. It's been good, and I know a lot of you guys are buying with me, and I know a lot of us are making a lot of money. And this is one that in the private Discord, a lot of people are very happy about, and I love to see it. Why do I want to watch them next week? I mean, it's almost just been too good to be true. I just want to see what happens. There is constant good news just piling out of these guys every single week. As well, a lot of us expect the merger to go through by the end of October. That's not confirmed yet, so you know, generally we might hear about it a month or so beforehand, so we could actually hear something about it relatively soon. But as well, I just want to see what happens. I mean, I can't stop looking at these guys. I also did, as I said earlier in the video, interview the CEO only a few days ago, and I mean, it just filled me with confidence, and I think it filled a lot of people with confidence. We got a lot of really juicy, really useful information out of that video that was never spoken about before. But it's my second biggest position right after Workhorse. It's one of my best performing positions by far. I love them. Now, we'll get off of our EV stocks for a minute. We've 3 more stocks. So we're having a look at Virgin Galactic. Okay, and I've been speaking about these guys for weeks now, and nothing's really happening with them. I mean, I bought them back here when we were $14-15 a share. I went up 70+% in the company. I've held the whole way. I've lost all of that money pretty much, and I'm fine with it. I still stand by what I've said. I genuinely think that Virgin Galactic, okay, could genuinely offer some of the best growth potential in the entirety of the stock market. And I think that the catalysts are coming very soon, as early as October. I mean, as well, Virgin Galactic is hiring an awful lot right now. And we see new jobs coming up every few days. Like 3 days ago, a principal aerodynamics engineer. 1 day ago, a flight surgeon. You know, there's constantly jobs going up here, which is always a good sign. And then obviously we have a massive short-term catalyst coming up. Virgin Galactic launched its first suborbital space flight from Spaceport America in October. 2 more test flights going up. Once they go up, okay, if they are successful, we get full FAA approval. Richard Branson goes to space in the first quarter of next year. A lot of people are asking me for my price targets on Virgin Galactic. If everything goes to plan on the time frames they have laid out within 6 months, I find it really hard to put a price point on these guys. Would not surprise me if we're well in excess of 50 a share, all going well, and that is within 6 months. Now on the other hand, if things go wrong, it's going to be horrible. If the smallest thing goes wrong, if dates get pushed back in the short term, it's going to be horrific. We're going to see more of this. We could go all the way down to $10 a share. We could go below that. But I've said this in the past, if you're looking for the biggest return, you're probably also looking at the biggest risk. And I mean, what is riskier than flying to space commercially? I can't think of many things. Again, I do think they literally have some of the best growth potential in the entire market. And I mean, even saying $50 a share, I'm being conservative. I think it could be a lot more than that as early as the end of first quarter next year. And then when we speak long term, I think it could just get absolutely silly. But I genuinely believe I'm going to be coming back to these videos, you know, where nobody else was really speaking about them in 3 months time and be like, yeah, we did it. But again, a lot of risk associated with these guys. Always do your due diligence before getting into a company, especially one like this. Okay, and I have 2 big tech companies I want to speak about. I mean, first of all, it's Apple. I mean, geez, what is happening to Apple? On the monthly chart from the peaks, we're down 20%. And I mean, 20% in certain companies, in certain industries isn't much. But for Apple, that is insane. That's terrible. And over the entire month, we're down a total of 7.6%. Now, it is worth keeping in mind that, you know, from the very end of July up until the very beginning of September, we went up over 40% pretty much. There was an incredible run, and it's also worth keeping in mind that on the 6-month chart, it's still been a beautiful, beautiful run for Apple. I mean, when we look at a 6-month chart and we see 120%, that should always be considered amazing. I think now a lot of people are numb to seeing 100% gains because they look at a lot of small market cap companies. We see it happen with a lot of SPACs. This isn't a SPAC. This isn't a small market cap company. They have a market cap of $1.85 trillion. They were the first company to hit a market cap of $2 trillion. To see that kind of return is genuinely no less than disgusting. So I know a lot of people get numb to seeing 100% gains in 6 months, but for Apple, it's disgusting. And the same goes for this, dropping 20%. In my opinion, it's insane. I mean, we've nearly given back all of the value that we gained since the stock split was announced. And since then, there's been more good news. In fact, there's only really been good news. Now, as far as big tech company goes, I have a few favorites. It's pretty much Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. The 5-year chart, Apple was up 335%. After this crash, they're still up 272%. That's incredible. And I mean, if we go back to like 10 years ago, they're up 1400%. It's insane. And I'm one of the people who doesn't think it has to slow down. I know a lot of people will argue it does. I really don't think they do. I think their place is set. They're always going to be on top for a very long time at least. I do still think we're at very, very, very fair value, and I plan on buying more very soon. And a lot of my money right now is allocated to the higher risk plays, my SPAC, some of my EV plays, but I really am thinking about buying these guys very heavily. And then there's just one more company, and again, it's the same story as Apple. It's just been a terrible month. It's Facebook. We're down nearly 4% on the month. From the peaks, we're actually down 16.5%. Again, on the 6-month chart, we're pretty much back to those levels from, you know, August. Now, again, on the 6-month chart, we had some really nice growth, about 100%, but a lot of it's been given back. Now, Facebook's one of the big tech companies who hasn't really grown as fast as the others, as our Amazons, as our Apples and Netflix, a lot of them. And as well, we've a market cap of 719 billion, which is obviously insanely massive, but it's not as big as a lot of the others. And it's one where on the 5-year chart, we're up 172%, which I mean, again, that in 5 years is absolutely massive, but it's not as big as some of, you know, the other big tech stocks. Now, I love Facebook. They were one of the first companies that I really started diving deep into, and I think they're amazing. Their balance sheet is beautiful. They're in such a good cash position. They can get through absolutely anything that could ever be thrown at them. They've shown resilience through ad boycotts, which is how they make money. They've shown that they can pretty much adapt to any given situation. I mean, we hit $300 on 2 separate occasions, and now we're trading in the 250s, guys. Just like Apple, it's a big tech company I just want to add some more to. I initially bought Facebook at like $205 as well, and I still think that in the long term, $250 is very cheap. But guys, there is 10 juicy companies to keep a very close eye on next week. So guys, some very exciting opportunities coming our way next week. A lot of excitement for me in the market right now. A lot of things really are piquing my interest. Some brand new positions, some old ones. I mean, this week I bought 2 new companies, and I haven't bought a new company since Lordstown Motors initially. But anyway, if you have watched until the end of the video, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you. If you did enjoy the video, could I please ask you to just gently tap that like button if you haven't yet? It really helps me out, and drop me a comment and subscribe if you're new around here. And also, if you want to know exactly when I buy any of these companies or sell any of my companies, hit that first link in the description and sign up to become a patron today. You will get access to my buy and sell alerts, new ticker symbols to watch. There's individual chats for all of the stocks we speak about on this channel. SPAC stocks, dividend stocks, growth stocks, everything. But anyway, guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day and rest of your weekend. I will see you for tomorrow's videos. Peace.